Hey there. So I only did one example in class about how to convert the argument. It's pretty simple problems, but I figured if you need another example, may as well do one. So this is an example where we're going to need a rule that is not on the sheet. So this is a triple angle formula problem. And we see that because sine of 3x and then here is sine of x. So the sine of 3x is the one we're going to have to modify. And the formula for this is the one up here. It's not very well written because my screen has problems, but sine of 3x is always equal to 3 sine of x minus 4 sine cube of x. So we're going to have to use this because once we do, then we're going to only have sine of x everywhere. Sometimes in this case, it's going to be cubed. But once we do have that, it's going to be a problem we can solve. So here I'm going to write triple angle formula just to say that that's what I'm using. All right, so let's do it. So this one here is going to become 3 sine of x minus 4 sine cube of x by using that formula. And the other side, I'm not going to touch it because it's 2 sine of x. There's no problem there. It's already a sine. It's already an x. So no reason of changing that whatsoever. Now that we're here, one thing you cannot do is divide both sides by sine. You can't do that because as far as we know, sine could be equal to 0. As a matter of fact, 0 would work because 0 would be equal to 0. And we're never allowed to divide by 0. So we cannot divide here. What we can do is bring this 2 sine of x on the other side by subtracting it. So here we would be left in that case with just a sine of x because 3 minus 2 is 1 minus 4 sine cubed. I don't know why I wrote a 4 here. That's a 3. So sine cube of x is equal to 0 now. And then this is just becoming now a simple factoring problem. So I'm going to factor out sine of x. And then this is going to become 1 minus 4 sine squared of x is equal to 0. So we now split this problem in 2 smaller parts. So the first part would be sine of x is equal to 0. Let's see when this happens. So sine is a value of y, which means we're looking on this line. So there's 2 angles, the ones that are on each side of the circle. So x is simply going to be equal to pi times n. So this is the first solution. Second solution, I'll put it up here, is going to be when 1 minus 4 sine squared of x is equal to 0. I'm just going to rearrange this a little bit so that I have sine squared of x is equal to 1 over 4. And then I'm going to square root it. So if I square root it, remember there's always 2 roots. So be careful not to make a mistake like just taking 1 root. That would be a very typical mistake and very sad one. So this would be left with 1 over 4 down here, which really would be plus minus 1/2. So we have basically two things that can happen here. I'm going to do them separately. So it's either sine of x is equal to plus 1/2 or sine of x is equal to minus 1/2. Let's solve for this. I'm just going to do it on one circle. May as well. So minus 1/2 is going to be down here. It's going to be, again, the first value, this value here, and then there could be 2 more. And then we're going to have the plus 1/2 on the top here. So basically, we have all of these angles that are possible. I'm going to just do an X like this. And these angles are given by pi over 6. So for the plus sign, which is the bar on top right here, I'm going to have x is equal to, so x2, that's the second value I'm finding, is going to be equal to pi over 6. We could merge them. I'm not going to merge them, but you could have this as plus pi n and get the one that is down here. I'm not going to do that just to make sure everybody follows. But if you do see that, then just go ahead. So here we're going to get pi over 6 plus 2 pi n. So I'm just going to take care of this one value. And then the second value, which is on, I'm going to call it x3. It's on the other side, on the second quadrant. So this one here would be pi minus pi over 6, which is 5 pi over 6, plus 2 pi n. And then finally for the minus x, minus 1/2, which means we're going to look down here for this line here. So we have minus pi over 6 for this angle. So I'm just going to take care of that since it's pretty simple. That's the fourth value of x that I'm finding. Therefore, we are going to get minus pi over 6 plus 2 pi n as per usual. And finally, x5 is going to be the angle right here. This angle, we can find it by doing pi plus pi over 6, giving us 7 pi over 6 plus 2 pi n. I don't know if I can write it plus 2 pi n. Yep, looks fine. All right, there we go. So we've got this, and this is a pretty big problem. We've got how many answers? 5 of them. Yep, there we go.